I am Johnny Paper. Ever since the day I found the music shop, my life's been sounding more and more like a dream I'm only starting to hear. After I left the studio of symbols, I didn't get anything from the flute. So I decided to go back up that mountain. Since I could not find much use in a silent but sacred flute, I thought maybe the master would have the answers I need. But when I reached the spot, it was gone. Just a rock wall, like the cave had never existed. I stood there, staring. Where's the studio? I know it was real. I have instruments that prove it. This wasn't a dream. I walked in circles, touched the stone, searched for cracks, echoes, anything that could have been a door, but nothing. No master, no symbols, just wind and rock. I stood there for a long time, hoping something would shift or morph, but nothing came. So I turned around and started walking home. As I walked, I decided to try playing the flute again. Maybe now, maybe here, away from home, away from the noise, I could find a way in. I lifted it to my lips, gently, like it might break, and tried again. I played until my lips ached, and not even a whisper came out. It was like the flute had sealed itself off. No sound, no signs, just silence. And then I thought of her, that woman, the one who brought me to him. Who was she? Where did she come from? Why did she feel like music? And just like that, it sang. Let go a note, so pure, so honest, I nearly dropped it. It was like it heard her, in me. Just to think of her, I would get sound. So I raced home. Like the mountain was on fire, the bass and the drums were waiting. But this flute, it was something else. A spirit in silver. A mystery I didn't know how to hold. So I laid down a nice foundation with the bass and the drums. The master had said, when you're in chaos, your sound will be chaos. I remembered his eyes when he said, every thought is a note, every feeling a chord. What you believe becomes the song you live in. So I tried. I really played the bass, grounding myself in truth. I let the drum echo what I knew was real. But the flute only answered to her. It wasn't even playing. It was remembering her. The more I thought of her, really felt her, the more the flute came. Notes I didn't try to play, just poured out like she was the key, like the sound was hers, not mine. And with every note, her image grew sharper. I could feel her presence. I didn't even realize how far I was falling into her image. The more I felt her, the more the sound poured out, until the dream took me. And so I crashed. I don't even remember falling asleep. I was deep in her memory, and then I was gone. I was in the desert, a sea of golden sand beneath the sky that seemed to breathe. The heat was bending time itself, and there in the distance stood a tent. Not just any tent. It pulsed with light, massive, woven in silks and symbols I recognized. The same ones etched into the cave walls of the studio of symbols. How could this be? I stepped inside. The air changed. It was still the desert, but also sacred ground. Lanterns flickered without fire. Symbols glowed softly in the walls. Spirals, stars, and flames, all calling something from within me. And then I saw her. At the center of it all, she sat beneath a glowing arch of light, surrounded by others, strange, serene, like a family of sages, but she was leading them with music. Her flute sang the desert awake. In front of her sat a figure I can only describe as royal, not by power, but presence. White beard, eyes like the dawn, He listened as if each note told the story of 1,000 lifetimes. I realized I was witnessing something ancient, a rite, a remembering. She was more than a muse. She was a master. And then she looked at me, like she'd always known I'd be there. Her gaze held time itself. The sound surrounded me, pulled me into her song, into something I wasn't ready to name. I woke with a gasp, and my heart raced, like I'd run across the stars. And then I saw it. My screen opened, glowing. My studio recorded the entire melody, the exact one she played. It's real. Somehow real. Who is she? Who is the master? What is happening to me? And now I have to figure out what's real and what's not. As I listened to this ancient-sounding flute melody, one of the master's teachings started to echo. You do not create harmony, you come back to it. But one thing is certain, these new instruments, they're resonating deep in my life. Maybe if I mastered them, I'll find the answers. The master did say sound is not mere vibration, it is intention crystallized. As the level of these teachings deepens, I feel my music skills starting to evolve. But only one thought resonates. How do I find her? To be continued.